In the early hours of Workers' Day, a bus carrying municipal workers was travelling from Kimberley to a rally in Qwaqwa. It took a wrong turn and ended up on this dirt road near Bethlehem in the Free State. Nobody knows exactly why, but minutes later the bus driving at high speed drove off this boat launching pad straight into the Saulspoort Dam. Only 11 people survived, 51 others drowned. Neo Ditebe could never have imagined the ordeal ahead when, on the previous afternoon, he said goodbye to his wife in Kimberley. His comrades were waiting at the union offices. They were planning to leave town by 10:30 that night for a Workers' Day rally in Qwaqwa. They were in a combative mood. 13 of their members had been suspended, and they wanted to make their voices heard at the workers' gathering the next day.
It was very nice, that bus, when everyone was singing and dancing in the bus. And when we got to Senegal, there we stand a little there, and I was telling everyone in the bus, I was happy, say, hey, I was born here. My mother's house is in this town, and it's about 60 kilos from Bethlehem.
I noticed the driver speaking with the petrol jockey, asking for direction. The other comrades like Neo, he know the place, he know Qwaqwa. Say, driver, no, you are not supposed to take that route, take that one.
He drove, he passed the first road, he's turning, showing you Durban. And then everyone started screaming, hey, driver, you have passed the road, you have passed the road. He just drove.
The bus was descending. But we are still singing. We didn't know what will happen in front. We were just singing again. Hey, comrades, no, this is grond by the other spanne by the pad ken. This is grond pad, ons gaan van agter kom as die bus moet kom.
After he hit the stone, and every suitcase, everything were at the top of the bus and fall, and everyone was screaming, hey, stop the bus, stop the bus. Everyone was screaming hard. I screamed also. It was dark. I didn't see any water. I started see water when the water coming in the bus.
I was swimming in the bus and I broke a window, just a small window. Then my body allowed me to get out at the backstroke, because I used backstroke to go out.
Oh. Oh.
Ernest and his friend David Maitsi swam to shore towards the only lights they could see. The lights belonged to the house of Bethlehem municipal worker Len Slubbert. They were freezing and in a state of shock when they told Len what had happened. Len raced to the dam and was met there by Rudy Koch, an ambulance driver whom he'd phoned. When they spotted the huddle of survivors standing on the bus roof more than 60 meters from shore, they sprang into action. Len returned home to fetch his boat, while a friend swam out toward the survivors to keep them calm until he returned.
You're standing on the bus and you can hear the struggle in the bus. You hear the people are fighting in the bus, and there's nothing you can do. And that struggle goes down, down, down until you can hear nothing more. You only hear wind and water past us.
I saw no bus. And I thought, no, that is strange. I can't see where the bus is. I looked around, didn't see. Saw a black spot in the water further on. And pulled my bucket to where I'm more or less standing now. Putting the lights on. And saw the people standing in the water, and I thought, no, well, then they must be actually standing on top of the water. And that made me realize that this bus is actually completely submerged. I went back home, fetched my boat, and then me and Rudy went in and take 8 people off the top of the bus.
By late afternoon, 46 bodies had been recovered. The bus came from Saulspoort in the Northern Cape and was on its way to a Workers' Day rally in Kwakwa. The bus driver apparently lost control of the vehicle on a gravel road outside Bethlehem. The bus then plunged into the Saulspoort Dam.
By midday, everyone knew that this was the biggest bus disaster in South Africa's history.
If they could have pushed the back window of the bus, more people could have come out.
The lucky few escaped through a side window, not the emergency exit. After Len Slabbert had brought them to shore, they were taken to Bethlehem Hospital.
Ons wou graag lewens red, maar ek meen die mense wat dood het was dood gewees. Ek meen hulle is nie na die hospitaal toe gebring nie. Maar mens voel hartseer, jy weet, omdat soveel lewens, jy weet, op so 'n manier geneem is, jy weet, en dit was nie nodig nie. Mense wil nie hê mense moet kan sê dat daar is soveel dood op 'n toneel nie. Mense wil graag sê dat soveel geleef. Mens voel regtig waar hartseer saam met die families en saam met die mense, want al daai mense is werkende mense met kinders. En so dis die broodwinner van die huis wat dood is.
Back home in Kimberley last week, tents were being pitched all over the township. Most of the victims had worked for the local municipality and knew each other well. It was a town in mourning filled with families grieving. This little boy watched as preparations were made for his father's burial.
I never expected this really. I never even thought of this. Because when we usually speak with the children, we always say, oh, we are going to grow all together. I believe that we are meant for each other. The bigger one, you know what is going on, but the small one is still confused because he says his father just fall in the dam and he's going to take her out with a friend and take her to the hospital and bring her home. And sometimes he say, I'm waiting for my father, or a father went to work.
Lindiwe worries about how she will cope when the relatives and neighbours leave after the burial. Then it'll be just her daughter and her son.
I'm going to miss the things, jokes, all those things with the children, especially with the children. They are going to miss her the most.
Ernest Mulema's best friend died in the Saulspoort accident. Now survivors like him have to deal with the guilt of living. They also have to deal with the grief of some of the families who lost their loved ones.
Life is not different because of like I can every time roll on or or I can shelter we are school in your lunch. It also different at my go get pension and get any pension. I don't know if mama go alone so and 6 something every gets reduces.
Gary Feli lost her mother in the Saulspoort accident. She's still at university, but she must now look after her sister and her 12-year-old brother. For the moment, the funeral groceries donated to them are enough, but once they run out, life without a mother will be very difficult.
Since mama ha re nile ene a mo thusang okay rona na a ke mind because of the khudile a ke ene na tletse go balela magagwe a tletse mo tlhapisa a tlela mama ke batla thubopo eng so tsetso o tla go di dira mo go mang ha se ke na gane ka taba e go ka mmisa mara ene na ke tsa ikere motho a le teng la pele gak.
Ever since this, sometimes I'm all right, some days it's not right. Just think of him. I'll never see him again.
For Granny Suzanne, the greatest irony is that her son graduated on the 1st of May 1999. 3 years later, he died on the very same day.
Yeah, I just thought that if this boy is gone now, I'm lost. Really lost. Not to say that nobody's going to help me, but I just thought he was the one that I depended on him. My sole breadwinner. I don't like the drowning. It's very bad. I just said to myself, I wonder how he was. Was he asleep? Or was he standing? Or was he shouting or trying to get somewhere to go? That's what I asked myself. I don't know. What I said is, oh, the poor thing can't even swim. How is he going to go out? Who are you going to blame? You don't know what happened there. I wasn't there. I'm just asking myself, couldn't he see where he was going? Taking that funny road. I don't even know the road myself. But I don't even think I will go ever that way. I don't think even they can offer us free buses. I will never go there. I must try. I must try hard. Yeah, I must try. You know, I know I won't forget now, but I must try. Yeah, must have prayers on me. Pray. Yeah.
Years ago, more than 40 school children died when the school bus they were travelling in plunged into the Westdean Dam here behind me. Since then, at least another 150 people have died in similar bus accidents, where the main reason, it seems, the massive loss of life can be attributed, like in the Westdean case, to the simple fact that people couldn't escape from the wreckage fast enough. Ivan Leroux owns a company that designs emergency equipment. After the Westdean disaster, he became obsessed with trying to find out what had really happened and made a study of emergency exits.
There's been a number of bus disasters since then in which circumstances were either similar or there was a fire involved in which people couldn't escape, where the accident itself wasn't responsible for the deaths of the passengers, but that it was entrapment. Well, that window is fitted exactly the same as any other bus window in the bus. There is no difference in the assembly criteria for emergency exit windows compared to normal bus windows.
When the bus was removed from the Saulspoort Dam, its emergency exit windows were all still intact.
Emergency exits don't exist. These kick-out type exits are nothing other than ordinary bus windows with a sticker applied on it. Bus construction techniques are international. Buses get made in a similar way in Australia, America, Europe, all over the place. The Americans, for example, did a study where they took 16 buses and 8 of them they ramped into Lake Michigan, and 8 of them were rolled down a boat ramp, much as the same as what one had at the Saulspoort disaster. And they registered times and placed cameras inside the bus to see what happens. Now, a bus is like nothing more than a lead pipe. It sinks within a couple of seconds, as was the case in the Westdean bus disaster, as was stated by witnesses in the Saulspoort disaster. It is therefore very, very critical that whatever emergency exit is fitted to your vehicle, that it is an instant form of emergency exit that is not reliant upon physical strength, because people get injured in accidents. You could twist your arm and that, and you become slightly disabled by it. And the confusion of the disaster itself compounds the situation. So it is absolutely vital that an emergency exit must be operated within seconds. Otherwise, you have serious trouble that follows from that.
However, these facts are generally not known. Most passengers trust that the buses they travel in have emergency exits that work. Owners believe the manufacturers have installed exits that work, and the manufacturers have no regulations to guide them. The Saulspoort bus belonged to a company in Kimberley. When we paid them a visit this week, the workers and owner were all still visibly shaken.
I tried my best to make sure that the strip is safe. But all measures which were taken was for nothing. You know, we lost our 2 drivers and the 49 workers.
But we wanted to find out what the owner knew of emergency exits.
All our buses have their roadworthy certificates. Specifically on this bus, we took it in on the, I think, the 8th of January. where it was examined and everything was done through the normal Northern Cape testing grounds.
Mr. Matiba, like many others, believes that a roadworthy certificate means that the emergency exits are tested and work. This is not so.
On the windows itself, there's a red sticker with emergency exit. You just have to press them and they will follow.
And that, ironically, is the only requirement for an emergency exit during a roadworthy test. The sticker. And as we'll prove later, they don't simply fall out.
That one is for there. Yeah.
We have that trust in manufacturers because they know exactly what to do. For us to have a bus without this emergency exit, it will be difficult to accept it. I'm sure we'll never accept it. And secondly, it is going to fail at our Northern Cape testing grounds.
That is also not so. Passing a roadworthy test seems to be no guarantee that a vehicle has an effective emergency exit. There is no law that specifies how emergency exit windows should be designed, or one that provides for any reliable means of testing whether they work. We took a replica of the Saulspoort bus to the Johannesburg testing station, the biggest of its kind in the world. We wanted to find out how emergency exits are tested here and what the roadworthy test requires. The head of the testing station, Charles van den Heerfer, started off by showing us how tightly the rubber is fitted to the bus windows. Emergency exits.
If you look at the emergency exit, this rubber is fitted exactly the same as the previous rubber is fitted on the left-hand and right-hand side of this bus.
Okay, but now tell us, this is not an illegally fitted emergency window. This is the way emergency windows are fitted.
Yes, I would say the windows are fitted according to the bus manufacturers or whoever fits these glasses.
So do emergency exits actually exist?
At this stage, I would say emergency exit is supposed to be existing windows that can be kicked out or been forced out of the frame of the vehicle. The windows are fitted exactly the same on all the windows around the bus is what the emergency exit is. A sticker, again, the emergency stickers, you can purchase it from any department, from any motor spares, and just stick it on and say that's to comply with the legislation and the law.
Basically, there is no way that an examiner can test an emergency window. If there's a sticker on it, it passes.
That's right, Annelies. As you say, there is no way. According to the test method, we cannot, as any examiner through the country, test an emergency window.
Now, I'm going to try and kick that window out. What do you think I'll get it out?
Annelies, I say no, because first thing, you must always think, when it comes to a bus disaster, normally the persons in the bus is under a panic situation. They do not think of kicking the windows. They normally think of hitting it with the fist or with their hands or trying with their body pressure to push the windows out. Should it be when the Saulspoort Dam situation was, where there's water involved and there was water on the outside of this bus, it's impossible for you to press out the window from the inside against the water, because the water is then helping the window, actually enforcing the window.
And that's exactly what we tried. Without water pressing from the outside and using all my strength, I was unable to push, punch or kick out the emergency exit on this bus. The problem, it seems, lies with the ordinary public buses. Luxury buses have more sophisticated exit designs.
And it's got an emergency in the roof, front, and emergency in the back, where you can get out of this bus. With those old buses, you cannot get it. It's actually a coffin, it's a death trap, you cannot get out. Yeah. This window will fall out because it's got a slight thin rubber base around the window on the in and outside.
The law doesn't enforce how emergency exits should be fitted or tested, but it does specify what type of glass should be used. Apart from the windscreen, all windows, including emergency exits, are fitted with so-called toughened glass.
Toughened glass is a way of thermally increasing the strength of a piece of glass to make it around about 5 times stronger than ordinary glass. And at the same time, it makes it much safer when it actually gets broken. So instead of having those very sharp shards which can injure people very badly, it breaks into relatively harmless cubes of glass, which don't have that same sharp edge on it. So it's stronger and it's a safety glazing material.
Ironically, toughened glass is safer precisely because it's incredibly difficult to break. A foot, a shoe, a hand will not go very far in breaking it.
It's a very difficult product to break if you hit it with something quite soft. Let's say, for example, with your hand. Although people have been known to punch their way out through pieces of glass, breaking their hand at the same time. It's a very strong piece of material, depending on its thickness as well, of course. The thicker it is, the stronger it is.
I was unable to break the emergency exit on the bus that we tested, and that was without the shock and the panic of an accident situation, and without water pressing from the outside, as there must have been in the Saulspoort disaster. Millions of people travel in buses every day, and a solution has to be found for what we have now seen is a non-existence of effective emergency exits. The answer might lie in simple, cheap devices like this one. In 2001, this little device won the South African Bureau of Standards Design Institute Award. The thinking behind it is simple. This pin will penetrate toughened glass. It's fixed to an emergency exit like here, and in 2 simple steps the window can be broken. The safety pin is pulled out and the device is punched.
If the window could already break before the bus was, it was only 3/4 in. The window break immediate because it was at first there was one gentleman, they call him Tarzan. His man was the muscle, he's so big. So the man had net so wat uitgegooid if he could broke the window.
Luxury buses have more sophisticated emergency exits and devices, but most of the buses on South Africa's roads are the older models. The people travelling to Qwaqwa on that fateful Workers' Day were travelling in a coffin. They had only their bare hands to break out from that bus, and that was not enough. The emergency exits on the Saulspoort bus, it seems, were nothing more than stickers saying so.